Just let me know when it starts.
It started, Ayan.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So, as Akshay might have told, my name is Ayan, and I'm a final year student pursuing my chemical engineering from NIT Warangal. And I'm a consultant in big data analytics and consulting cell. And I'm placed in O9 Solutions as a consultant. So, O9 Solutions is a integrated business planning platform. And so, welcome to the second session of Ignite, that is our data analysis series. In the first session, Akshay gave an introduction to what is data analysis and how, data, like he just gave a brief intro as to what is data and what are the applications of data and why there are so many people investing into data analysis. So today we'll be just seeing quick, like, I mean, yesterday we just told what is data. Today we'll be showing how data can be handled. And tomorrow, Shashank would be covering data visualization. So yeah, and like I can't be seeing the chat box since like my laptop is in full screen mode. You can, whatever queries or questions I can ask, you can just type it in the chat box, and there are other moderators who will be answering your questions. So the agenda for today's session will be introduction to Excel, the formulas and functions used in Excel, and how data is formatted and general formatting methods, then data handling in Excel, and charts and pivot table. And at last, I'll be like I'm using Excel since almost 2 years now. So what are the various resources which I have come across? I'll be just giving you a list of them. So even you can just go through them. So the introduction, what exactly is Excel? Excel is basically a spreadsheet application which was founded by Microsoft. So here are some quick facts about Excel. You can just, like you can see in the slide, the main important one which I feel is this: 16% of the world's population use Excel. So I mean, you can imagine the user base of Excel and how important it actually is in our real day-to-day world. Then there are 512 fonts that can be used in an Excel sheet. So this is a typical Excel sheet. And like if you notice here, there are various sheets here. So the collection of all these sheets is called Excel workbook, and a particular sheet is called an Excel sheet. So, and every Excel sheet has, I mean, this much amount of cells. So I'll just tell you what cells is. If you see this, like all the rectangles, these are called cells. And like to know how we came up to this almost like 11-digit number. So if we go down, you can see that there are 1048576 rows in Excel, and there are almost six. Like the numbering is different here. It is in letters. So the last one, it is XFD. But if I'm not wrong, let me just show you the number of. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So 16384 is the total number of columns in Excel. So you can imagine up to how massive data it can handle. So I mean, later you will be seeing the importance. And one more important fact is an Excel cell can contain up to 3 to 767 characters. By characters, I mean it can be a number or an alphabet or any special symbol. So yeah, then applications of Excel. So I'll just give you one small insight as to how Excel can be used. If you, so like let me show you the UI of Excel. This is, if you see the screen, this is your file tab, and here if you can, this is your quick access toolbar. By quick access toolbar, like you can add various shortcuts here. So suppose you are at a place where you need to print on a regular basis, so you can add the print option. Or like there is some data where you need to arrange them in ascending or descending order on a regular basis, so then you can add in the quick access toolbar based on your work. Accordingly, you can customize the quick access toolbar. And this is the title bar. It will basically, the top one, it will show the like your document name, and then this is your menu bar. And I mean, Excel, as I told you, when I myself run, the classes were almost 22 to 23 hours. But here we'll just be covering very like quick basics in around 1 hour of time. So once the session is over, what I would suggest you is just try to experiment with all the commands. Like if you go here, home, file tab, you will see here you are having so many options: home, new, open, info, save as, save, print, share. So you will understand, like just try to click and see what does each command do. If you go to the home tab, like you can see this under clipboard, this these things are called ribbons: clipboard, font, alignment, numbers, files. So by the name itself you are getting some hint as to what that particular section will do. But you can just try to experiment with what this symbol means. Like you, if you just keep your mouse and just hold it, and if you don't click it, Excel will automatically try to describe that what that particular command means. So just try to experiment with that. And one more important concept is that like where to specify a cell. Like suppose if you have a very big data, if you want to mention a specific cell, every cell has a unique name. So the horizontal lines are called rows and the vertical lines are called columns. So we generally represent a cell by its column number and row number. So this specific cell will be C2 and C3. Here will be the cell number. So you can see that as I'm moving here and navigating through the sheet, the cell number will, the cell name will change. Yeah. Now data entry. That is how like you'll be generating data in Excel. So like these are the general formats in which you can enter data. Just let me see. It can be either your text or number, currency, then dates, time, percentage, fraction. So like there are various ways in which you can enter data. Now suppose if like you are in a US based company, so 560 568 is there, because 567 won't mean anything. So you just need to click on currency, and as of now it is in rupee. You can just change it to US dollars. Sorry, just 1 minute. Yeah, you can change it to US dollars. So that is how you can like make the sheets. And it is always better, it is always advisable to know the various keyboard shortcuts while navigating through Excel, because in the initial stage or when you have very less data, you can manually do it with mouse. But uh, when you are handling large amount of data, you need to, it's better if you know the shortcuts. I'll just give you one small example. Suppose if you take this data set, I am currently at row 1. Now I need to check that what is the, like, what is the last row of it. Now I can't just be scrolling like this, because like I know the answer. This has almost 6,000 rows. Currently we are only at 500 row. So if I just press control and down, we'll directly go to the last row. So it will show, okay, yeah, 6,500 rows are there in this data. See, so if you want to select the entire data, the short, I mean, the normal way will be you just select the mouse and you can drag it. But suppose if you want to select the entire data and such a big data, you can just press Control A. So here is the list of the most common shortcuts used. And don't worry, I'll be sharing the PPT also with you, so you can just go through this. Uh, like in the list, which you can see the keyboard shortcuts, which I generally use a lot is first of all the navigation shortcuts, then the shortcuts: cut, copy, paste, undo, and redo. And find and replace are also very important shortcut, because when you have tons and tons of data, and like let me give one example where you have this sales data. So you want to look for a specific like you want to see that bishop is there how many times. So you'll just type bishop, and you can get all the places where you'll find bishop. And after entering the data, you realize that okay, his name shouldn't be written as bishop, it should be written as bishop S. So you can just replace with you can control H. Control F is for find, and control H is for sorry, yeah, control H is for find and replace. You can keep it with bishop S, and if you do replace all, it will replace all the bishop with bishop S. So that is the importance of it. Then like the basic applications. I mean, this is not restricted to these 5 domains, but I mean, in general, Excel can be used in finance, accounts, charts and analysis, then inventory management and scheduling. Scheduling, as in your like your demand planning. Suppose if you are in a company, you need to see that okay, at what time we should be, like, just think it on a large scale, that a company which does business in crores, so like almost every day they have to get the raw materials or the like finished products. So accordingly they need to plan everything, and imagine the number of financial transactions which will happen with so many dealers. And and inventory management. Inventory is basically the stock of products which you have. So, like, just take a company like Walmart. Imagine that how many number of warehouses they will have, and what will be the number of products they will have in each of those warehouses. So, such things can be done in Excel. Now, just to give a quick overview of like what are the various like in detail application. So, one hint, like one shortcut can be if you go to File and Open. Sorry, yeah, New. If you go to New, you can see here various templates of Excel in which they are themselves like uh, uh, you can see, like, if you read the title, this photo calendar, personal monthly budget, then weekly course schedule, then household monthly budget. This is in, like, you can search various segments. This is under business. If you see invoice is basically your bill of a transaction which you do. Then similarly, you can get in planners and trackers, then budgets, charts, calendars. These are the small applications of Excel. And one more thing before, like those who don't have Excel, I mean, it's with usually if you're buying a laptop in recent times, you'll be getting Microsoft Excel free. But in case you don't have, or you don't like, you need a full version, you have two options. One is that you can use your Google account and try to use online Microsoft Office provided by Microsoft. Or another alternative is you can go to Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is also exactly like, I mean, here also if you just see template gallery, attendance, grade book, assignment tracker, annual financial data, then like baby name analysis. Like I mean, I saw this yesterday only, so I'll be just showing you later. Just I'll keep it in a new tab. Just a minute. Like this, just one more insight, like just to show that how I use Excel in my daily life. You can see how many number of sheets are there here. Yeah, so these are the two options in case you want to practice Excel. Even if you go to a blank sheet, you can see that like you may not get entire features of Excel, but more or less it will be the same. See, file, edit, view, insert, format. Here also you can just like keep your cursor on that button, and you can see that what that particular symbol means. So just try to experiment with it. Then, yeah, formulas and functions. So now we are getting to the core of Excel, that is your formulas and functions. Now there is one basic difference between formula and function. Formula is something which you can customize. That is, now suppose I'll be just doing a very simple calculation, like 2 and 4. $2. Okay, just 1 minute. Let me 2 and 4. Now, one important rule is that whenever you are using a function or a formula, before starting, you need to press the equal to sign. So here you are referencing, either you can do 2 plus 4 directly, you'll get the answer as 6. But you can create a template also. You can do B2 plus B3. So now if you just change this number to 9, like automatically it will change. The template is already created. So this is like one example of formula. Now suppose I'll give one small example as to how you can use a formula in your day-to-day life. Suppose you have almost 100 number of banks, and you want to say that, okay, which bank will be the best one. You can get the data of a particular like principal amount and the rate of interest which they are charging and how much you need to pay at the end in a like your given time. So you can, if you like if you make four columns where you get your principal, rate, time and interest, and you can calculate the overall amount, and the amount which will be the least in the same amount of time, that will be the best bank for you. So that is how you can like choose later as to suppose like when you are purchasing a house or when you need some big capital investment, you can see which bank will be the most favorable for you. Yeah. And one like one more important thing which I made on my own, this is called like I call it as pointer table. So those who are from NIT Warangal, you may know that how our grading system works, and like we get semester grade point average, that is SGP, after every semester. And like we all will have some certain targets, that suppose your CGPA is 6.9, you'll be calculating, okay, how much I need to get next semester to get 7. Or suppose your CGPA is 8.4 and 8.5 is first class with distinction, you need to calculate how much you need next semester in order to get 8.5. So here I made a tool in Excel where if like the formula is pretty simple. That's what there's a formula. It's not a function. Here I'm customizing it on my own. So this is SGPA into number of credits, sigma, the summation of all. So some SGPA 1 into credits 1, SGPA 2 into credits 2, so on, up to total number of credits. If you do that, then this means that if I get 0 SGPA in my final semester, my total CGPA will be 6.963. And one more important concept which we get here is absolute reference and relative reference. Now here, if you notice, you have 1,000 rows. So like you can't be expecting that I'll be typing the same formula each and every time for 1,000 times. So Excel has a very important like very useful tool that is called as absolute referencing and relative referencing. Basically, if you just notice this top right corner, and if you just select this, let me like just one minute guys. Suppose if this thing didn't exist, now from here I need to like generate this data for all the various combinations, that if I get 0.01, what will be my CGPA. I can just drop this and get it up to like the 10 SGPA, and accordingly my CGPA for all the like 10 CGPA, my CGPA for all possible combinations can be evaluated. Okay, so I can know, okay, 7.71 is the maximum. So there is no way in which I can reach it. Accordingly, I can set my targets that, okay, as to maintain 7.5, what should be the SGPA which I need to get. Then now here one more thing is like what basically, if you notice this formula, the top one, it was A2 into 13. That like this is the A2 cell which was considered in the formula, but in the B3 formula, it was considered A3 into 13, and this was A4 into 13. So this is called relative reference. That is, when you are copying the formulas, Excel will automatically understand that, okay, like this formula is corresponding to that particular row. Like when you're copying the formula to fifth row, it has to take the fifth row data. That is called relative reference. And suppose you want to consider only with reference to a particular uh, like sub only you want A2 cell, then what you can do is just keep dollar symbol here between A and 2, and after that, if you copy this cell, see the values are same. So this is called absolute reference. Here it won't change the row number. So I hope you understand the difference in this. So next for if you go to this tab, this is your this one formulas tab. So this is your function list. I have added the same screenshot here. This is your entire function libraries, and like you can see the financial functions, then logical functions, text functions, date and time. And I have like I found one very interesting link here, so I'll just be going through it because Excel has almost 500 to 600 plus formulas as of sorry 500 to 600 functions. So we can't be just discussing each and every one of them. I have found this link, so we'll be just seeing the most important ones here. So these are called the text functions. You can see that, I mean, the table, if you see, it is function, the definition, syntax, and example. So, and in general, Excel will also show you the same thing. Now, suppose like whenever you want to enter a formula, you just, like, suppose now left I'm typing. First, it will, before clicking, it will show what this function does. Returns the specified number of characters from the start of a text string. So if I click this, then after that it will show me the number of like the way in which I have to enter the data. So here you can see that from this particular string, return the first two alphabets. So let us just execute this. So I hope you understood this. Now, and like just don't think that okay, like this is a useless example and it may not be useful in real life. Trust me, it will be of some help. Like there is a thing called as SQL, System Query Language. So that is very important for your placement interviews, and you will have such questions like this: that write a command to print the first four letters of a particular word. So you should have a knowledge of all this. So just like whatever I'm saying here, this is out of experience, and somewhere or the other, it has been useful in real life. So similarly, you have right, mid, length. This length is the it returns the number of characters in the text string. Then similarly, you can just go through this list, and there is an important function, concan, uh, concatenate. Then like now, suppose if you have just 1 minute. If you have here like 1 minute, if you want specific data from C row, E row, G, and at I, so you can't be just like taking a Word document and just adding one after the other. You can just use this function, and it will automatically like join all the letters for you. And if you copy and paste, like if you do a relative reference and do it to the entire sheet, then you can get the like mixed string. Then this is your mathematical function, and like this is quite important, which I use very regularly. Your sum, product, then like rounding up of numbers, then some if. Now this is uh, I'll just take some example here. Now this is a grading system. These are some sample marks of a particular uh, exam. So here, if you just take the one mathematical function, like if you take the average and standard deviation, it's a very common question used in our language, that okay, for this subject, what was the average, what is the standard deviation. So you can use Excel in it. If you just press average, you can, it is, see, if you zoom, if you check this, it is seeing the way in which you want the data. So you can just select the range, and if you press enter, you will get the average here. And for rounding off, you can just use this one. So accordingly, you can say, okay, the average is 63.1. So like later, I'll be even showing you how grading is done in NIT Warangal. Then statistical functions, average, minimum, median, count. And this is something like Akshay already spoke few of these words in the yesterday's session, but in your day-to-day life, this will be used a lot. Like even a few examples which I can say is our placements. Like after the year is over, you'll be getting a branch like median salary, average salary. So like these are various methods in which you can see how the data has been spread across like now suppose if like there are three data like 3 points, it is 1, 2, and 50. The median will be 2, but the average will be 50 plus 2 plus 1 divided by 3. So accordingly, you'll understand that by difference of median and average, okay, how the data is like relatively spread across. Then these are date and time functions, and this is logical function. Logical function, like it is like the important ones I can, if is a very important function. You might have used in your programming also, you use this a lot, that uh, I mean, if you will put a condition, if that condition is correct, then what should happen? If that is wrong, then what will happen? Like I'll give one practical demonstration. If you see this grade, I have used if condition here. So if this is the marks, so if I3 is less than 35, then fail. And if there's a nested if condition, basically, if you just try to look at this part properly, I3 is less than 35, and if it is true, then it is F. But instead of, I mean, if it is false, instead of writing a value, I have written another if condition. These are called nested if statements. So even in your programming, you would have used this a lot. So here, like after putting all the ranges, if you just press enter, you will get the grade of the student. So there is one practical demonstration of how if function can be used. And lookup, there is also very important function, v lookup and h lookup. V is basically vertical lookup and h is horizontal. So just if you look at the definition, looks for a value in left most column of the table, and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. So that is like in the vertical line, if you are looking for a specific value, it will try and like return it back to you. Then looks for a value in top row of the table and then returns a value in the same column from a row you specify. Then next we have formatting. So like if you might have seen this already in the home button, there's a screenshot from that region. If you notice, like if we see any of the templates, I'll just go to new. You can see how colorful this all templates are. So the, I mean, it is only possible because of this column, your format column. So just if you notice every specific ribbon, font, alignment, number, already we saw a fact that there are almost 512 fonts available here. So you can like data, like presenting the data in a clean version is also a art. So how like you try to like beautify your presentation and all that. Like I'll just show one small example. There is a, just a minute. See, I made this chart sort, like I have companies financial data, out of which I'm trying to make like what are the net profits, and then like I'm basically comparing two companies. So here, if you just try to look at, just a minute, if you try to look at a if you look at the specific data, like the table, you will feel like you may not get proper insights. But if you see in this format, then by a glance, in 1 second you can say that okay, yes, in year 3 it had the most profits and how it is decreasing. You will get a sense of it. That's why data analysis is so useful. So just 1 minute. Yeah. And in this, one more now important feature is format painter. Now suppose if you have if you click on a particular cell, just try to like, read about how the definition of the cell. It is in bold for font, and this is the font name, and this is the size, and it is aligned in the middle, and it's general text. Now suppose, and if you go to one, just okay, wait 1 minute. Yeah, if you see this, this is also like, let me just increase the size. I'll make it underline and italicized. So this 2e into 0.5 is basically when the cell is not able to fit. So what you can do is you can just expand the row and then it will show you the number. Now later I realized that okay, this shouldn't have been in this format, it should have been in the above one. So what I can do is I can just paint this format. It will take all the specifications of this particular cell. If I just click here, then accordingly it will change. Now even so that is how it can be used in real life. Format Painter, it is a very important tool. And just one thing I would like to tell here, this is a Microsoft Office product. So in case you are learning Excel, this same things will be useful for you in your PowerPoint and your Microsoft Word as well. At least these are the two things which any engineer will definitely use either for their assignments or your presentations. So even like let me just this is the full screen. Like if you see home, the formatting options are quite same. Then here also you can the way charts are taken here, like uh, then here you will have extra features such as your animation, the slideshow and all. But if you learn any Microsoft Office, if you learn one particular product properly, good number of features will be same in other products as well. So just let me go to full screen mode again. Yeah. And another thing, conditional formatting. Now suppose uh, here I want to highlight, this thing is called as conditional formatting. I want to highlight all the roll numbers which end with odd. So what I can do is, see here you will have cell rules. So I can just 1 minute. So I'll make a new rule. Just a minute, guys. Okay, I'll show this example. Now in this, if you just select this data, or sorry, this one. Then if you take top 10%, it will automatically identify who are the top 10% of this. So like then you can like sort this data. Later I will tell you what sorting means. But in a large set of data you can identify that what like based on your specific pattern, you can identify which are the uh, like rows having those data. So conditional formatting, that ways it can be very important. And then let's go to the next slide. Okay, then data handling. Now just a minute. Okay, if you consider this data, now like I mean now I know what this data is. It is basically results of our simulation project. Now like those who are from non-circuital branches, like just another tip to show that how like me being a chemical engineer, how I have used Excel in my day-to-day life. So these are minor research project. And like where we need to conduct molecular simulations. And almost like if you notice the 6500 rows, so this data is automatically computer generated based on the commands which we give. But now there is a very like you can't get much insights from this data, you don't know what it means. So uh, uh, suppose now in this you want to just if you select this data, then you can sort it. Then sort by, you will have options. Then again, let me, okay, suppose take the kinetic energy and sort on cell value, cell color, font color, and conditional formatting icon. And here also, if you notice, whenever you click something, just try to observe what are the various things available. Like here, if you notice, you have add level, delete level, copy level. So at beginner stage, you may not know what it means, but just try to figure it out. That like, okay, if this is something like when I'm explaining and I'm not talking about this, but it is mentioned here. So what that particular thing means, you can Google it up always. So this is now if I just take largest to smallest, it will sort my data accordingly. Now see time step, it has completely changed. And this is like based on my total energy, largest to smallest. And here, like, if you add another level, that first, just a minute. You are first sorting by density, and after that you add a level, and then you add it by like total energy. If you take, then accordingly data can be sorted. Like another, like this is a very clumsy data, so I'll show some another good example. Here, if you take this sales data, here you want to identify that, like, it which in which region the units were sold the least. Now just by seeing, going through this data, like it has almost 445 rows, so that is also very small data, to be honest. But okay, I just want to know, like, in which areas the units were sold the least. So I'll just go to the select the data, I'll sort it, then based on units, smallest to largest. So now you can see that at like in the this specific region the units were less. But again, does less unit means that the total revenue from that area is less? If you notice how revenue is calculated, the say uh, like I mean that is related to, I mean, here actually directly sales is equal to revenue. But let us suppose that here you would have got the unit price of each quantity. Then at that time, if you just take a new formula here and you multiply the cost price of one quantity into the number of units, and again you arrange this data, then the revenue might be different. Here, like, coincidentally they are matching. So let us just forget this example. Then another important thing is filter. Now suppose if you just take this data, and if, like, you just see here, like there has been a change when I click filter. Now again I'm clicking it, filter has disappeared. So in this, now suppose I want, like, this just to see real life example, that I have a sales data, and here I want to see only what Bishop has done. So I'm just selecting this, and here I'm getting data of Bishop, that in every month there's a 3 year sales data. So you can see how Bishop has worked. Then suppose if you want to see only, just 1 minute, if you want to see okay, 1 minute, yeah, if you want to see only the uh, north data, then you can see in, like, north region what was the total sales. Now why, like, there are various insights from which you can get. Like if you just here, if I'm using the sum function, I'll just take the entire sum of it, this one. Yeah, if I take sum, and like I got this value, similarly I can do it for west, south, and east region, and accordingly I can compare that, okay, which region had the most sales. So why it had more sales, like there can be various parameters, that, like, did we have more customers there, or did we do better marketing there, or the demand for the product itself is more. So like that, companies can use various analysis to take strategic decisions for their future. So now here I'm using control Z command. Basically, whatever steps I used, I'm just going back. So yeah, just 1 minute. Let me see if I can show any other example. Okay. See, now here also, instead of just removing this, I'm just doing format painting and removing all this things. Sorry, just 1 minute. I don't know why it isn't being removed. Yeah. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. So just a minute. Okay, like now at if we select this data and suppose I'm using the filter, just when I'm using filters for this data, and suppose I want the number of students who got this specific marks. Suppose like if I just want that who got 35, so I can just press here. Okay, so there is only one student. Okay, sorry, this is your end exam. Really, my bad. Yeah, if we go for 34, I press OK. So there is only one student. So like this, we can like how filter and sorting can be used in real life. Then there is the most important topic, charts. Here I'll be showing two real life data sets which I have used. This is our like the simulation data which I have already showed you. But here now like our actual objective was to observe trends in like how the kinetic energy, potential energy, and bond energy is changing with time. So like just 1 minute. Okay, I need to open that file. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So we the same 6,500 rows we had to do for three temperatures, the 298 Kelvin and 313 Kelvin and 303 Kelvin. And here we need to see how it is changing with time, how it is changing with temperature. So here I have shown one demonstration. Like if you notice this data, sorry, here this for one particular temperature where you're getting all these things. Similarly, we will have two other sheets for 303 and 313. And here I have extracted like the total energy for only 298, 303 and 313 Kelvin. And after that, now how to get a chart. The simple step is that like you need to select the data from which you want like your particular chart. Here I'll just be like taking a small box because there's a very big data sets, and sometimes the system may even crash if the computational power is low. So insert and recommended charts. It will automatically show that what are the various possible charts available. Tomorrow, Shashank will also give you a brief overview of what are the various types of charts, because now this is something which is data visualization. Now here we are getting various insights. Even the this example which I showed you, this is data visualization. From analyzing the data and preparing charts, now I'm getting some insights. So tomorrow this will be covered in detail. But let me just give like here if you see column charts, you can get or what are the various models possible. Excel itself will try to give you recommendations, then line charts, then bar, area, scatter plots, then radar charts, tree maps. So here we have selected this. Whenever you click on the chart, now this is the data which I have selected. So this is basically the time step versus the energy at three different temperatures. And once we select this data, now like actually this is a very magnified image. Like you can see that when compared to this thing, it is like you're able to see the chart. If you take the actual photo, like you can't identify any trend. All the three lines will almost be merged. That's why like we had to take a zoom photo, and like now you can see that. Okay, so the conclusion which can be made here is as the temperature will increase, the total energy will increase. So like these, I mean, like you will have the general these rules in your chemistry textbook, so it will be very easy. But like these are proofs as to how it happened. So here like you can just you can customize your charts as well. Like if you just press on the plus symbol, you can see what all to add in your chart, your axis title, chart title. Then data labels are just 1 minute. Okay, data labels is basically like your when you're plotting the charts, you'll be writing in your x and y axis, right? So here data labels, it can't be addressed. Like if you notice here now, this entire thing, it has become very clumsy. So let me just remove this data labels. And like now here the system is getting slow because like entire 6500 rows they are getting affected. So even if you see this one, yeah, the grading curve here. Now to count, now I'm just selecting the various, let me remove the filters. Yeah, so here if I just then select the data, insert charts, and you will, okay, sorry, just a minute. Okay, I like this is the curve which you will actually get. So here you can get the count of roll number by grade. So like A is like 21 students got A, then 30 students got B, and 23 C. So here, like I mean, the faculty will actually do this. Now, like you can see that okay, B is the like I mean it is coming in the middle. So like we, as you may know that we follow the bell curve, but the average should be C. So accordingly, you will try to like set the limits like in this formula. Just yeah, in this formula accordingly we'll try to set the limits like this. Here we already calculated average. Another important, like those who are aware as to how grading is actually done, you may know that there is a thing called a standard deviation. Standard deviation is nothing but how the data is spread across. I gave you that example, right? The median and mean, 1, 2 and 50. So accordingly, if you calculate the standard deviation for that data, it will be high. So it shows that the data is not like very close to the mean. So let me just see in Excel formulas also. Here, if you double click, then the formula will apply. But if you do a single click, it will give the description of that formula. So as a homework, that is you can even do that as well. Here I'll be just doing the normal standard deviation, and I'm selecting the range. And if I press enter, here I'm getting the standard deviation as 14.88. So accordingly, like I mean, those who know, they may like they know that I mean mean plus a half of standard deviation and minus half of standard deviation will be the range for C grade, and accordingly plus standard deviation B grade. So I just did absolute grading here. If you notice this ranges, it is 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So generally you can keep any now as per this data, accordingly these ranges will change. So that is one example. Then here also, as I already mentioned, that here you have financials of company A. Here if you see this, the net profit of 3 years is given, then the revenue of 3 years is given. Now like since these 3 years, you can easily analyze that okay, yeah, it is year one is greater than year zero and year two is greater than year one. But what if you had like 100 years of data? Like if you take example of Deloitte is functioning since 1846. So if you have data of Deloitte, how will you like just by a glance you can't compare what are the trends in Deloitte profitability or their revenues. So if you make such kind of charts, like now this visualization also, it may not be best for when you have many when you have data for many years. Here you have just 3 years. So accordingly, you like I have made this. You can even customize this if you go to styles. Accordingly, like you can just customize your charts. Yeah, then just okay. Okay, so this is also another important concept and one of the last concept which I'll be covering today, pivot tables. So like this is something which I mean like later on it will be very useful, and like at this level the interviewers may not expect you to know it, but in case you have knowledge or you actually work with pivot table, that will be very useful. Like personally I'm using Excel since 2 years, but I never had to use a pivot table. So like the standard difference between a normal table and a pivot table is that the normal tables, like uh, now here you can't customize them. Now this is fixed, like the data is given here, but pivot table is something where you can customize the data. So I'll just show you what customization actually means. Now let me just remove the filters for this data. Yeah. So when you, the same step, you need to select your data, and after that if you go to pivot table, what it will do is it will take you to a new, the first step will be it will select the range, and after that it will ask that do you want it in new worksheet or in the existing worksheet. So let me click the new worksheet. Okay, then yeah, here now if you see, like the table, like this is the let just 1 minute, let me show you that data as well. Yeah, here we have year, month, type, salesperson, region, units, order. Here also we have the same thing if you look at this side. But here now the table is completely up to us based on how we will customize it. So it is very easy. It is just you have to do click and drop, but you need to, based on your analysis, you need to see as to what type of various insights you can get. Now, for example, this is, now I want in rows, I'll be taking the year. So here, if you see the like year data you have got. Now, then in columns, I'm taking region. Then in this values here, one thing you need to observe that you can only add numerical data. So sales, if you are adding, sales is in numbers. So I'm adding here. Now see, with this was such a big data, like there's also 400 rows is actually not that big, but imagine the data which Amazon will have, like they may have, you can say maybe a million entries. So with such kind of data, now just in 5 to 6 like rows and columns, you are getting some really good insights that in 2013 central region had the most. And just yeah, accordingly you're getting such insights. So now let us try some other combinations as well. Now you, like if you want to remove this, you can again just click and slide it here. Now you want to see the salesperson, like performance of that particular salesperson. So here, yeah, see, in 2013 this was the sales by Bishop, this were the sales by Lee. So like this you can like get some really useful insights. So just one. So there is like quick introduction of what pivot tables is. But trust me, like whatever I have been telling you, these are just like very small basics of each concepts. Like if you try to notice, I have just tried to cover all the sections in the menu bar. So like again, as I told you that you need to just experiment with it, and like in your actual day-to-day life, you may not be, like you may just be hardly using 40 to 50% of the Excel capabilities. So there, like Excel itself is like a ocean. So as and when like you will be, like even now there is no, like I don't completely know Excel. Now whenever I get stuck up with a problem, I try to look out, figure out that solution using Excel. So now here we go to the last segment where just, yeah, how can, like what are the various resources. So one thing is called cheat sheets. Now this is not specific to Excel. Let it be any programming language, let it be any software tool which you want. There is a thing called as cheat sheets where like you get the entire glimpse of that software in a like in a nutshell. Now like I'm doing this in front of you only, I don't have a cheat sheet of Excel. Now let us suppose, let us take the programming language C++. Now I want a cheat sheet of C++. So it is very simple process, just Google C++ cheat sheet. Like just better if you press PDF, so that accordingly it will recommend you PDF links. See, in two pages, it will try to give you very small like insights of what are the various things in C++. But again, like this cheat sheet may not be the best one. So again, you can just go back, look at any other website. So this is one very important here. If you see various operators, data types, then here like almost like entire C++, you can the ASCII value chart, then how you do file handling. So many things will be covered. So this was also like a cheat sheet only, but like the actual cheat sheets are much condensed form. So the shortcut you can get the list here. So this is one resource. Then another is Coursera guided projects. Now, one thing I would like to tell, suppose you claim to a person in an interview or whenever, like during the session, I asked you that, is there anyone who has used Excel? Now, even I am trying to teach you something about Excel, but when you ask me that, is there anything which I have actually done in Excel? Then my answer would be yes. So, like knowing Excel is not the only thing. You should have some proof of work that yes, you actually do this or the other thing in Excel. But now, suppose in an interview, you can't just say that, yeah, I plan my day to day task in Excel. So you should say something concrete. Now, suppose I gave you one big example that how I used in my project, my minor research project. So that is something which will have a good impression to the interviewer. So, like in case you want such kind of things, you can go to Coursera guided projects. You can just Google what this is, and like obviously few might be paid and few might be unpaid. You can check all those things. So like they will give you a step by step overview of real life problems. So that is something which later you can tell in interview that yes, this is some kind of work which I have actually done. And the third resource is YouTube. Now by what I mean in YouTube is, suppose wherever you get stuck. Now I'll just give one small example. Like I don't know here if it yeah, earlier I used to have this problem that whenever I'm typing, if I like there are various ways in which you highlight points, right? Either you'll keep 1 2 3, or you'll just keep a dashed line, that is your minus symbol, and you'll be using it. But suppose if I'm trying to document that like like suppose the answer has 5 points, so my first point will be ABC. If I'm pressing enter, like it is thinking that there is a minus and there is a minus sign and I'm using some formula, so there's an error. Then I like if you just YouTube or Google it, you'll get the solution that if you press a colon and then you press enter, this will be selected as ABC. So there's something which like you'll get to know by experience, like whatever problem you are facing, you just Google in YouTube that like minus sign not like I'm not able to type minus sign without with letters, so accordingly it will give you solutions. And now whatever, suppose now pivot tables concept is there, like you know the entire Excel, you don't specifically know about pivot table. So to go in depth, you can specific like you can only Google sorry, you can YouTube pivot table, and you can find various tutorials to it and real life applications. Then now Google again, and as I said, now YouTube, if you don't have much time, you can just directly Google it. You will have many, like you'll get very quick links as to what it is there. Like once you're an experienced user, you can directly use Google, because when a person is explaining you in text format, you can like understand what they're saying, because you know what, like how Excel works. But suppose if you don't understand the technicalities much, you can see YouTube, because they'll be like demonstrating it by showing it in their own screen. And another resource can be Excel help. Here if you see here help bar, like you'll have so many Q&A thing, Q&A. So you can accordingly just like type whatever doubt you have. But one disadvantage of this is that, like I mean, if you are a beginner or an intermediate person, you may not know exactly what type of questions are fed in it, or you may not be in a position to express your doubt properly. So that's why like later you can use it, but at the beginner stage I would recommend Google and YouTube. But again, you can type your questions anywhere here, and you can get help from Excel. then like this is the course which I was talking about. So like here the link is attached. Like there are many other courses also. I'm not specifically advertising this course. I'm just stating what I had done. And the next resource is practice via templates. So as I showed you that even in your this like normal Excel, you have so many templates. So like what do I exactly mean by practicing with templates? Just click any particular template. Let me go with household monthly budget. Just let it open. Yeah, here now see like actually what he has, like those who may, I didn't cover this part, this is basically called merge and center. Now if you uh, select these cells, and if you just go home and press merge and center, it will just this basically to look more, the data should look much clean. So here if you, 1 minute, ah, just browse through the cells of this template and you can see what is given. Now suppose this is your data, and here he's like this is he will show if there are any various formulas being used. So suppose expenses, some monthly expenses, projected cost. So these are the ways in which you can try to practice. Just take any template and you can see, okay, so in your actual, here if you just select this, okay, so these are the actual components of your house expenses. So maybe you can do it in your work accordingly, like you can plan it out. Or and like the internet alternative, that is your Google Sheets. Here we were talking about the baby name analysis. And if you go, you will have, like you have this data. Then if you already, Google has done the analysis, here you can get number of babies each year, then female and male names each year, then what are the most popular names of all time. These same things even you can try. You can just copy this data set, paste it to Excel. Then how I had done this grading system, accordingly you can count the number of names. So like that you can just practice. And just a minute. Yeah, so any doubts, which I mean, since there's a very small session, so like this was just to give a brief overview. Any other doubts you have, you can always contact me. This is my number. And so you can visit our Facebook page and our website and our LinkedIn page to know our further events. And like we also have a YouTube page. I forgot to add. So you can get the whatever events we conduct, you can find the like links to that. But like once we complete a particular event, we'll be posting it. So thank you. And I would, you can just like give a quick feedback of how you like the session, or how like any drawbacks or any other things which can be covered. Accordingly, we'll try to see in the further session. So I'm just stopping my screen. Guys, any feedback which you have?
Thank you, and the session is really means informative and really means really great.
Yeah, thank you, Akshay. So like, and I mean, whenever you want to just like you have any doubts, you can just you can get in touch with me. Tomorrow we like on 15th we'll be having another session on Tableau. So here like whatever you did till now is data analysis. Now we'll be seeing data visualization. So it will be okay, could you post the link of Udemy course in chat box? We'll be sharing this PPT like in, just wait for a couple of hours. Across all the groups we'll just be sharing this PPT. You can go through it. So yeah, guys, like I'm in the third session. like in the starting, someone asked that I missed yesterday's session, so how will it be related to the next one? So till now, we have just given you what data is, how data can be used, and what are the like industry in a particular workspace, how it can be used. Next, what we'll be seeing is data visualization. So that is one of the most important thing. But without data analysis, you can't do data visualization. But in like if you see a typical corporate hierarchy, uh, like the person who is at a bigger level, he or she may not like have much time to go through everything. So these are like what I showed here. There is the called executive summary. So you need to have proper data visualization skills, because you need to show to your audience in very less time as to what are the insights from whatever data you have. So just like share it with your friends about the sessions and your experience, and we'll meet on 15th. Thank you, everyone. Can we close now?